So the recording started. So if you want to go ahead and do the introductions, and then I'll take attendance while we do that.
All right, so I'm going to call the meeting to order. The time is 7:12, right? Yeah. President is Juan Luciano, co-chair.
William Williams, 60.
And you're a member.
Community member. Community member. Harry Taylor, community member.
Veronica Castro, I'm actually the co-chair. He's the current co-chair.
I'll go and chair.
Online, we have Hazel Mura, committee member. Naomi Pemberton, I saw her before. I think she's still on. Hold on. Yes, there she is.
Yes, I'm here.
And Damaj. And I think that's it for the committee members. We also have Cynthia Rodriguez, board chair. Considered a member, a non-voting member. Okay,
So it says review minutes, but I'm not sure what
I don't know if the
minutes
minutes
are
are.
uploaded. So I'm going to move forward. The NYC Office of Emergency Management. I believe that we have a speaker here. Dustin?
Well, Juan, first of all, did you state for the record that you do have a quorum because one of the remote attendees does qualify for?
I
Yes,
did not, but I'm glad that you brought that up. Thanks.
yeah, Hazel qualifies as quorum today, so for quorum, so with the 4 here and Hazel, we do qualify for quorum.
Excellent. Thank you, Jeremy. Dustin, are you there?
Yeah, I'm here. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. The floor is yours.
Excellent, excellent. Hi, everybody. Thank you for having me. I'll take up just a little bit of your time, and then I will get out of your way so you guys can do all your other business. My name is Dustin Reidner. I'm with New York City Emergency Management. I'm part of the Community Engagement Bureau inside the agency. And my role at the agency is the Special Projects Administrator. Prior to my time at New York City Emergency Management, I've been there about 4 years. Prior to that, I spent 5 years in the de Blasio administration in the Community Affairs Unit, and then with the Deputy Mayor of Operations. And then prior to that, I spent 7 years in New Orleans doing nonprofit disaster recovery. And so I've myself had to evacuate for a couple of different hurricanes, but also was there for the oil spill and a handful of other events. So today I'm just going to talk a little bit about coastal storm season. We're right kind of at the apex of the season for the New York City area, and talk a little bit about just flooding as a whole. So as you know, we're in coastal storm season. And it seems a little late in the year, cooling down with the temperatures, but this is when we usually will get storms this far north from the Atlantic. And what we do in emergency management is, as you can see from the slide, we're really here to help people before, during, and after emergencies. My bureau specifically works on the education and preparedness features to make sure that New Yorkers all over the city and all 5 boroughs have the information and the tools that they need to not only go through some sort of emergency event, like a coastal storm, but to also come through that event a little easier, a little faster, because they were more prepared. So hurricane season, June 1st through November 30th. June and July are really, and even August are really, really busy times for the hurricane season, specifically in the Gulf of Mexico. But August through October is really where we're going to get a lot of those kinds of storms or potential. And then, of course, in November we end, and then we move into our winter weather season, which I can give a brief plug on after this. So when we get a hurricane, as you probably know, there's a lot of rain, there's a lot of localized flooding, just because if we get too much rain, the storm system can't handle it if it's over 2 inches an hour. But then we also get what's called storm surge. And the storm surge is the high winds from the hurricane pushing the water ahead And that storm surge will push up against the coast, and then on top of other tidal features, depending on the time of day when the storm hits, we can get a lot of seawater that can affect coastal areas and go pretty far inland. So today I just want to talk about a couple things to really kind of help people in case we have something like this. And, obviously we want to stay informed. We have our Notify NYC program. You can text 692-692, and you can go ahead and that will allow you to get text messages directly on your phone. There's also a Notify app, and there's a Notify website. We also have a big presence on social media, whether it be Facebook or Twitter, I guess X now. And so you'll be able to get alerts that way as well. But the Notify app or through the text feature is really the best way to get real-time situational awareness of anything that's going on in your region. We also have our website, nyc.gov/EM, and that gives a lot of tips on and flood maps and other updates, things like that. But really, when it comes to coastal storms and other types of flooding, if there's a chance for flooding, if there's a high chance or a certainty that a coastal storm is going to be coming our way, the thing that we caution everybody is to get to higher ground. So first and foremost, you'll have, if it's a coastal storm, you'll be able to relocate your vehicle in advance because we usually have 96 hours or more before any sort of evacuation notice comes out or is even being thought of as we track that storm and the potential impacts to New York City. But not just motor vehicles, also yourselves. The only way that you can guarantee your own safety in any sort of flooding event, whether it be a coastal storm or rainfall, flash flooding, is to really get to higher ground, and that's most important for people that are in basement apartments. The other thing that we really suggest, and part of our core mission at the Community Engagement Bureau, is making a plan. So you'll see on the slide we have a bunch of different literature. But here is just a copy of what we have called the My Emergency Plan. Now that book goes through different hazards, different things that you can have on hand and ready to go. And it also has a sheet that you can fill out, and we really like to use this in our presentations, whether it's in schools or older adult centers, wherever we're going and doing these presentations. We like to go through this book with people there in the audience and have them work on their plan right then and there with us, because we're able to answer some questions. But you can really fill out your plan. Who are your contacts that may be outside of the city? Who are your emergency contacts in the city? If there's flooding, where are you going to go? Right? Do you have medications that you need to keep track of? Putting those medications in your dosages, writing those down and having those in a go bag or something like that can really save somebody's life, frankly, if they're forced to evacuate their home and don't have time or the ability to grab their prescriptions on the way out the door. So having that information, birth certificates, things like that, critical documents ready to grab in case you need to leave quickly, are all things that we suggest having in a go bag as in part of being prepared. And then lastly, we really suggest having alternate transportation plans. Buses and subways are great, and we know that not everybody has a motor vehicle of their own. But depending on the situation, we saw during Ida flooding and then some other coastal or other rainfall flooding events that the subways can get flooded and then trains are not running. So making sure that there's alternate routes that you know of in advance are really key to making sure that you can stay safe in any sort of emergency situation that you might encounter, but specifically within the flooding and coastal storm scenario. So along with making a plan, the thing that we like to do is we want to make sure that we talk to you about sharing your plan. So if it's not just yourself, if you sharing that plan with your spouse and your children or your next door neighbor or your parents or uncles or cousins or whoever you're close to, close friends, making sure that you share that plan with them so they know if something happens, maybe where your rally point is in case you had to evacuate or nobody could get back to the home. This is where you're going to meet. And so making sure that you kind of communicate those things with the people that are closest to you and the folks that will be worried about you is really key to making sure that you're doing the best you can to make sure that not only are you safe, but people can find you. And then, of course, you want to know about shelters and service centers. And I'm going to talk about that in just a second. Next, the next big thing that we like to talk about during our Ready New York presentations is a little bit about go bags. And like I mentioned, important IDs and ID and other documents like birth certificates, marriage certificates, insurance documents, information about medication, flashlights, phone chargers, cash and credit cards. Those are all essential items. If you have a pet, having vaccination records for your pet, having maybe a little bit of food and some water for your pets, handy and ready to go in that kind of scenario, are also very critically important. And other things you might want to keep in mind if you decide to stay and shelter in instead of evacuating. Things like a good pair of rain boots or muck boots, as we used to call them in Louisiana. Something that will keep your feet dry, a raincoat, any towels or things of that nature. And then water. Water is one of the biggest things that you can keep on hand, a gallon of water or two. You want at least a gallon or two per person, to get you through the first couple of days. Having a first aid kit, batteries, those are all really critical items that will help make your shelter in place a lot easier and a little less stressful, and keeping those things in some sort of container that maybe is waterproof, but is easily accessible to you. So I mentioned before, we have our Notify NYC program. You can text over to 692-692, and you can get citywide updates straight to your phone. If you do with your zip code, you'll get local alerts, and you can also download the app from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. But those are really critical updates. It's really nice when you get the updates on if there's emergency vehicles for a fire or something else, to stay away from certain areas, and that happens every day in the city. Or if there's major traffic backups or road closures, those will pop up over Notify, and you'll be able to see those and kind of avoid those areas to make sure that you can stay safe. So in terms of shelters, the best place to go is nyc.gov/knowyourzone. And what you see there on the screen is, on the left-hand side, you're going to see a map, and it's got some dots on it. It's a little harder to see because it's a small picture there, but that is our interactive Know Your Zone map, and that will do a lot of things. You can type in your address, and it will tell you which hurricane or flood zone you're in, and then it'll also show you where all the current hurricane shelters or flood shelters are for your area when that plan gets activated. And so you can make a plan on how to get to where is closest to you or meets your needs the best. And it is always the most current and up-to-date map. We do print some maps and some literature in 12 different languages, which looks more like the center picture there. But that map, sometimes things change with the shelter locations. Maybe the building where we had initially planned to hold a shelter in case of a serious event like this has some emergency construction or something like that. They'll change the location of that map or of that shelter to somewhere else to accommodate for those things, so we have enough shelters for everybody. So always check in advance the Know Your Zone website, and that will give you real-time information about which zone you're in and where those emergency shelters are. All right, and so again, just want to kind of reiterate this. The three basic steps for anybody in New York City are: one, knowing your zone, making sure to sign up for Notify NYC, and to make sure that you have your emergency plan and you communicate those plans and this information to your friends and neighbors. And with that emergency plan, you should absolutely have a go bag planned or packed, ready to go, sitting right by your door. So if something happens, and it could literally be a fire. I know we're talking about coastal storms and flooding, but even if there's a fire in your building, you could grab that bag on the way out the door as you leave your apartment or your home, and you'll at least have those basic necessities that you'll need for the next few days to make things a little bit easier. And that is it for the presentation. I know it's a little quick, but I am here to answer any questions that you guys may have regarding this. And I will also add that what we're going to be doing in my bureau is we're going to be reaching out again probably mid-October to early November to start scheduling presentations similar to this one, just 5 to 10 minutes, just reminder presentations, a little bit of basics, where we discuss more on the winter weather and the things that can happen during the winter. We often see a lot more fires around the city during the winter because people will use their stove or other heating elements aside from heaters, especially if the heating goes out in a building. And so, we're going to talk about those things as well. So we're going to be doing that throughout the year. We do the coastal storm and the flooding, the winter weather. We'll be moving into heat and do a few other presentations along the way as well. Naomi? I think you need to unmute.
I think Naomi
Sorry
had a
about that.
question first.
Yeah, no, go ahead.
Oh, so are you seeing more? Is that like more of an issue now for New York City? That the flooding has that increased over the last few years?
I haven't seen specific data on that, on whether there have been more flooding events. What I can tell you is that there are, changes in weather patterns due to climate change, right? And so this year we've seen some good, very powerful hurricanes, and the weather patterns seem to be changing a little bit. So it's been pretty warm all the way through September, and sometimes that happens. But the climate change issue has really kind of changed the way the weather works. For instance, I think it was Ida, or where it came from the Gulf of Mexico all the way across the United States, and then dumped a ton of rain here in New York, where it didn't do that so much on its way up from the Gulf of Mexico, right? So the storms are getting a little bit more unpredictable, but the warmer weather, the increased moisture in the air, definitely has created some uncertainty at times around the potential that those storms have for either total rainfall or other impacts. And I'm not a meteorologist, so I wouldn't speak to that on the scientific level, but I think that's we're seeing a little bit more extreme weather across the globe, and so that's why it's important to just kind of be prepared, especially since we live on the coast here in New York.
You mentioned that the storm drains cannot handle more than 2 inches of rain per hour. Is the city doing anything to increase that, or is that like the max capacity?
I think it's 2 inches per hour, so please don't quote me on that, but that's one that I keep hearing all the time. That's something that DEP would be better able to answer. But I would say though that like 2 inches of rain an hour is a lot of rain. Like that is a really, really heavy rain. And our system can handle up to that. But as that level of rainfall continues hour over hour, that's when you start running into issues, right? It can handle up to that, but if you're getting 2 inches of rain, not just for an hour, but for say 2 or 3 or more hours, and all the debris that gets washed along with the water as it's going into the drains, that also then starts clogging up drains, especially this time of year as we get leaves falling. We'll end up seeing some of those drains get covered where you can just go out with a rake and like a steel rake, and you can kind of pull that leaf cover off of a drain, and it'll start draining pretty quickly. But I will tell you that Parks, DEP, they have all been really on point to the best of their ability in getting those drains and looking at high flooding probability areas in advance. Now it's not perfect, so we can all, probably find an example or two where, they didn't hit a spot, or maybe there's just an extra debris clogging storm drains in a certain area. But there are certain areas that they know are a little bit more lower level, and they try and get out there and clean out those drains before a major rain event. And we usually have about a day or so when we see some of this stuff coming up that meteorologists can give us a little bit of a heads up, like, hey, in a day, maybe two, we're looking to see a pretty big rainstorm that has the potential for this. The city will then start preparing to do those things.
Hey, Dustin, this is Dwayne. I have a question.
Yes.
Are you able to speak to how your office coordinates with other first responders like FDNY, NYPD in the event of a storm?
Yes, absolutely, I can. So, our agency, we have what we call on-call teams, and we have 3 on-call teams. We serve 3-week tours, and what we if you're on call, you are ready for any event at any time. And when we know that there's some sort of event in the pipe, right? Like we have a rainfall event that might be coming, a coastal storm event, or a heat event, as we just got through the summer, right? We saw some heat waves come through. We start hosting interagency calls with all of our partner agencies that may be touching the plan in any sort of way. And we would work through with them and ask them what their preparation are. We, kind of go through and use our lessons learned from prior events where, there's always going to be something that you don't expect to happen in an emergency event. That's just kind of the nature of that. But we prepare ourselves the best we can, and we make sure that our partners are as prepared as possible. And then, people, as the event happens, we're constantly checking in. We often have either an open line where agency members are all there for immediate communication, or we have people in person in the emergency operations center, or a combination of both in the hybrid model, so we can make sure that people who are available to make a decision on a specific issue or who are responsible for a specific issue are in constant communication with everybody else at all times. And so we kind of make sure that everybody's in that communication mode. We're all talking so we can make sure that the jobs that need to happen get done quickly.
Do you have anything there?
No, I'm good.
Naomi, can you unmute yourself? Jeremy, you may have to unmute Naomi because I don't think we have the ability on this end.
I have something. While we wait. Dustin, is there anything specific for businesses, that they have to do or actions that they have to take in relation to the flood or coastal storm?
No, not specifically that I'm necessarily aware of. We do have a COOP team. That's what's considered continuity of operations, and they do a lot of work with the business community. But, at the end of the day, the small businesses and the larger businesses that are, serving everybody here in New York City, they are their own entity. They obviously have to do things like keep their sidewalks clean and things like that in service of their business. But, they're going to prepare the same way, right? They're going to batten down the hatches. They're going to do what they need to do to make sure that their property is safe. But there's not a specific all restaurants are now going to be serving, meals to citizens by order of the mayor or something like that, right? They're going to do their thing as private businesses. But, what we can do is help them connect after an event to SBS on the federal level, and they can access other services, or that's SBA, sorry, and then SBS here at the local level that would be able to maybe help them recover or give them some other resources to make sure that they're in the right place to continue their operations when the time comes.
So Dustin, I think we're having a little bit of difficulty unmuting Naomi. Her question was, do you have plans that focus on the elderly?
So we work very, very closely with the Department for the Aging. A lot of times they have their own plans that they have there, and we will work with them to help execute those things. Depending on you know, the specifics of the question is that like coastal storm related, there are plans to help people with mobility issues, people with life-saving equipment, those types of things. But specifically, you know, for the most part, the city asks that people prepare their own plan, and if they do need help evacuating, that's part of their plan, that they can contact 311, make sure that, you know, they alert somebody there, and then they'll transfer that information to the appropriate and responsible party on the city side.
Thank you. If anybody else has a question, raise your hand and we can call on you. Only questions directed towards Dustin at the moment.
And I'm going to go ahead and put an email address in the chat. You can reach me at that email address. All right. I manage that box. And I'm the primary person dealing with community boards across the city. So I work with community boards across all 5 boroughs. I'm here to answer questions, things like that. And so just shoot me an email there and I'll get back with you as soon as I can and make sure that we get whatever your concerns or questions are on our end taken care of.
Thank you so much. Thank you for stopping by.
Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you guys for having me. I really appreciate it. And I'm going to go ahead and jump off. You guys have a great night and good luck with the rest of the meeting.
Thank
Thanks.
you. Too. So really quickly, if you're a member of the committee, you need to have your cameras on. On our side, we're not seeing cameras. So if you could turn them on, that would be great.
Right, so let's move on. We have 2 renewal licenses for alcohol. One of them is for Patricia's. The other one is for Cuddy Bar and Lounge at 2525 Boston Road.
So just so you guys know, we have Officer Bell and Sergeant Perez online.
Excellent.
Only problem is if Jeremy's not there, I can't unmute them from our end. Let me try calling him.
All right.
Are they able to unmute on their end?
No, I think he muted everyone, so we have to send. Who's 917?
Did they-
This is Sergeant Perez. Can you guys hear me?
Oh, there you are,
Yes.
Sergeant Perez. Okay. And Officer Bell, can
Yeah.
you unmute yourself? Because Naomi can't. I know that she just said it. Hey, we're having difficulty.
Yeah,
Some people
I had
can't unmute.
to log in on the computer to see you guys, but to speak I had to call you from my cell phone. So it was
Thank you for,
a little
No.
complicated. Maybe that's why you guys can't hear Bell.
Options on mute them.
Guys hear me?
Okay.
yes, we can hear you, Officer Bell. All right, great.
Okay.
So that's
About
excellent.
Sergeant Perez.
That was
We
in
can
the
hear
micro,
him,
yeah.
yeah, through the phone.
Oh, okay. So he's on top now. Okay.
So we were just saying that we have 2 renewals for liquor licenses, Patricia's and
The room is muted for everyone.
Yeah, it just went silent for me.
Apologies. I don't know why that happened.
so I should
Go ahead.
try again. All right, so we have 2 liquor licenses renewal, one for Patricia's and the other one for Cuddy Bar and Lounge. Patricia is located at 1082 Morris Park Avenue and Cuddy Bar and Lounge located at 2525 Boston Road. So my question was for the officers, if you have any reports on either Patricia's or Cuddy Bar, any incident.
I spoke with my partner, Detective Hall, and as per our Special Operations Lieutenant, they are both approved for renewal on our side. We
Oh, cool.
recently had a meeting with Cuddy Lounge, in regards to the recent violence that's been happening. They've been very cooperative with our detective squad in regards to information and getting them video footage. We usually have a really good relationship with them, so maybe this was like a one-time thing. Patricia's, we never really have any issues.
What happened at Cuddy Bar?
There was recently like a fight after, like at the end of the night. Apparently one male was stabbed, but the squad, they have the video and it is currently under investigation.
Yeah, and to just piggyback on what Bell said, I ran the address for Cuddy Lounge, and this is the only incident that we've had this entire year. So we've had 911 calls, but for things like people losing their cell phones on a cab ride to Cuddy Lounge. But as far as violence, this is the only incident that we've had this entire year at Cuddy.
And without going into too much information, because I know it's still under investigation, did this incident happen inside or outside of the location?
It was outside of the location, and they've actually said that they would like extra patrol coverage during the weekends to avoid any of these situations going further. So we're working on that with them.
And then, I'm sorry I don't know if you know or not know, but was the incident, like, did the incident start in the bar and they just went outside the bar, or did it just happen outside the bar?
We're not 100% sure right now.
Okay. So it seems, Officer Perez, that you're saying that Cuddy Bar is not a problem. That maybe some patrons have an issue at Cuddy Bar, but not necessarily related to anything that happened inside. I'm sorry, anything related to Cuddy Bar or their management or their security or anything of that nature. Is that accurate?
Yes, and like Officer Bell said, they've been very cooperative with us in investigating this incident, and that's usually when we would not recommend for their liquor license to be reinstated when something was to happen and they're not cooperating with us or impeding our investigation. But again, like she said, they've been very forthcoming, and and this is the only violence that's happened there this entire year.
Excellent. All right, anyone, thank you so much, officers, for the report. Anyone here has anything to report on?
No.
Or Patricia's?
I think we should go do a hush,
Okay.
and then we'll go to gallery, so that way we can stream.
Okay, great. So then we have the license, the retail license, the cannabis retail license for Hush, located at 2460 Williamsburg Road.
It's a renewal.
That's a renewal?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So they have already been operating. So then I'm going back to Officer Bell and Officer Perez. Anything to report on that address, 2460 Williamsburg Road?
No, nothing on that.
All right. All right, so that is a renewal, so it's easier. Perfect.
Yeah, so just, I know a couple people asked for the application of the questionnaire that we have for them.
That's
For
why.
renewals, we wouldn't give them another
Alright.
questionnaire.
Got it. Thank you so much. All right, great. So then now we're ready to open it to the gallery.
Yes.
Before going to gallery, do we get the stats?
Yeah, we could do that now if you want, so that way
Alright,
if you
sure.
want to gallery, you could ask any questions.
Okay, great. So,
Officer Bell or Sergeant Perez, do you have the 28-day crime stats?
Yes, we do. Let me pull it up right now. Okay, so for the 28-day, in the 49th precinct, we've had 30 robberies, 43 felony assaults, 10 burglaries, 76 grand larcenies, and 34 grand larceny autos. Those are all slight increases from last year, but not terribly. Like burglaries are the same, and only one more grand larceny than we had last year.
And that's when you say that increase from last year. So it's this time last year, right?
Yeah, this time last year, yeah, not for the entire year.
So how are we doing year to date as compared to last year? Can you tell us that?
Year to date, same across the board. We have slight increases in all the major crime categories.
I got a question. Right, it's concerning Stillwell Avenue between Eastchester Road and Pelham Park. Are you familiar with that stretch?
Yes.
Are we gonna do anything about that? Because it's becoming a problem there with triple parking, cars on the sidewalk, cars with no plates, abandoned cars. There's a truck that's been double parked in my neighborhood for like, say, a month and a half already, in the, like, double parked, and can something be done about that?
Yeah. So actually we're in contact right now with there's this unit in the NYPD called the Vehicle Recovery Team, and what they do is they help us out with operations like that where it's not just one car, it's multiple cars. So we've spoken to those, you know, those shop owners and told them about this, but you know, they'll fix the problem for a little bit and then they'll go back to business as usual. So we're talking to somebody right now.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. You guys do a great job. You come in and they go right back to the way they were before.
Yeah, so in the next couple of weeks, actually, we will be doing an operation to like one big swoop, take a bunch of cars, and hopefully that sends a message to, you know, the idea is once it starts coming out of their pocket, meaning, you know, people stop leaving their cars with them because they're getting their cars towed or their cars summoned, then that'll send a message to the owner. So in the next couple of weeks, we're currently setting something up to do that.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
No problem.
So is there any response to the uptick in what's the response? I'm sure there is a response. Just wanted.
I'm sorry, you broke up.
What was
Say
that?
again?
You indicated that there was an uptick in crime. What is the response? What is the precinct doing to address the uptick in crime?
Yeah, so you know, we've passed this information along to our FTU program. So they're strategically posting, you know, cops on foot in the areas around the precinct. Also, we have a lot of special ops units that are aware of the situation. I'm the quality of life sergeant for the day tours. So same thing. Every week we get told like more or less where things are happening, and along with our other duties, we do pay special attention to those areas.
I got another question. Somebody brought up the topic of 1500 Pelham Parkway. The traffic is there, like in the afternoon when the kids are being picked up and everything.
Yes. So I actually did a walkthrough with our new commanding officer, Captain Stapleton, today. We have a meeting with the superintendent this week to try to come up with a solution because it was just really ridiculous. It was very unsafe for some kids. We've seen people blocking intersections. So we're immediately trying to get on top of that and hopefully come up with some type of solution by this week.
Thank you.
Okay. Do any of the committee members online have questions for the officers? You're gonna have to open up for the gallery.
Yeah, hi. I had my hand up. So it's
Hazel.
Oh, okay.
yeah, it's Hazel. So it is a little concerning that crime has gone up and it hasn't really changed since last year. So, and I know that we are extremely short-staffed at the precinct, which is a concern. I had the pleasure of meeting with the new captain today, and this is one of the things that was brought up. So hopefully we will find a solution for this and do the best that we can. I know that you guys are working very hard, and I think we all appreciate everything that you guys do for us. And I also
Thank you.
just want to, thank you, welcome. I also want to let everybody know that the next 49 Precinct Community Council is being held Tuesday, September 30th at 7 o'clock, and it's going to be held at the Morris Park Neighborhood Association's clubhouse, or whatever you want to call it. And that's 1824 Bronxdale Avenue. So hoping to see as many people there. And the new CO is going to be there. So if you want to stop by and say hi, you're more than welcome.
So, Sergeant Perez and Officer Bell, are you able to hang around for a couple of minutes?
Yeah.
Yeah, I am.
Okay, great. Because we're going to open up to the gallery right now, only about any of the locations that are up for review, because we need to do the motions. One of our members needs to leave. So we want to make sure we get the motions done, and then we'll open it up again for the gallery for any other issues. So does anybody have anything regarding Patricia's, Cuddy Bar, or Hush? Naomi, Diana. Diana, can you unmute yourself? Do you have anything about any of those 3 locations?
Yes, just about the Cuddy Lounge. We know them as a good community partner, and they're very supportive, like of youth sports in the area. Very concerned always about their relationships with the neighbors. So I would say yes to the renewal.
Thank you. Bob, do you have anything regarding any of those 3 locations?
Yes,
You got muted somehow. Try again.
okay. I
Okay.
believe there was a problem when there was discussion last time about Hush, whether it was too close or not to the school. And it's one of the 152 either current locations or locations to be open that are within 500 feet of the school. And that the Office of Cannabis Management has said that. They put out the report. I don't know if the board has it or not. But I would think that you would vote no because it is within 500 feet of the school.
My understanding is that certain locations that were already approved are being reviewed for possible grandfathering in. So until that decision is made, we have to wait to hear from the OCM on that.
Well, I would suggest, though, knowing that it's within 500 feet, that this board should vote no. Thank you.
Thank you, Bob. Anyone else have anything on those 3 locations? Okay, so if you want to move forward with the motions, and then I can handle the gallery afterwards.
All right, so I'm gonna start with Patricia. So I move that we send a letter of no objection to the liquor authority to renew their license. Everyone in favor? Aye. Oh, I'm sorry. Anyone opposed?
Anyone opposed online? This is where we need your cameras, guys, because we can't see anybody. I think Naomi said she's fine with all them. She said yes. Hazel, are you opposed?
Patricia's.
No, not.
Your camera's not on, you can watch absent.
All right. So
Okay.
I think we have enough for.
Yeah, Naomi.
So
She's fine,
the
yeah.
motion goes better passes. Same motion. Second. Second by Mr. Williams. Position. Now we're at Hush.
No abstentions. Right.
So we're up to Hush. I sort of want to make a motion to, I want to make a motion of condition of this. I know
getting more information.
Yeah,
Okay.
we cannot ignore that information we just got from Mr.
Right.
Press. So I'm going to move that we send a letter of no objection to OCM, subject to
Their approval.
their approval, and you know, we might have to renew the motion at the board meeting, right? Depending on what we learn between now and then.
I don't know if we're gonna get a decision on the grandfathering in between now and then. If you wanna do a motion of no objection and then put as,
Subject to them being
Subject
grandfathered in, right?
subject to OCM's approval of them being grandfathered, or something to that, you'll have to send the language to Chris so he can send
Okay.
it. You could do something like that.
All right, so subject to language related to 500 feet rule. Letter of no objection. Any opposition?
I'll second that.
A second by Ms. Castro. Any opposition? Any abstention? Or so the motion.
No, can you
passes.
hear me now?
Oh, we can hear you now.
And yeah, we
Sorry.
can hear you now.
Okay, I had to switch. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Are you
But I
abstaining
have
or
no,
opposed?
I have no objections.
Okay.
to
All right,
the
all right,
rules.
cool.
All right, so all three motions passes.
Okay.
Before anyone leaves, we're gonna go back to the gallery, but we're gonna do real quick one more.
Oh, elections, right.
Yeah.
So every year around this time, right, it's our first meeting of the year. We have to elect a new board.
A
At
new
this,
board chair.
a new board chair.
I'm sorry, committee chair.
I'm
not new
sorry,
board chair.
a new committee chair. At this time, I would like to nominate Mr. Dwayne Wood.
Wait a second.
Okay. Any other nominations? All right. So
Any
Yes.
objections to Dwayne being the chair?
no objection. All right.
Okay.
Great.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Your pay raise.
Yeah.
So now technically you are the chair going forward, so you can go on with the meeting and the gallery session and anything like that.
Sure, thank you, accept, and thanks for doing a great job.
Oh, yeah.
Safe trip home.
Okay,
If it's okay, we could continue with the gallery section.
I'm
Um,
sorry, doesn't he have to appoint a co-chair?
Yeah, who do you want to be your co-chair?
Veronica.
Well, I second that. I second it.
All right, I accept.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Okay. All right, great. So now we're gonna open it up back to the gallery session. So anybody have any questions for the officers or any other issues you'd like to bring up? I'm gonna call people's names because it's a little weird on this browser to see hands up. So let's see. Naomi or Damaj or Hazel, do you guys have anything?
I don't.
No, I don't.
I don't.
Okay. So then I'm gonna go to Diana. Do you have anything for the officers or anything to bring to the committee?
Yes, I do for the officers. I have a question about the situation on Allerton, between White Plains Road and Olinville, the 686 Allerton, the site of the shooting, the fatal shooting on Labor Day. I believe that there are currently patrol officers always stationed in the area. So I just wanted to double check on that and on the hours that they're there, and if that's true, and if they're still patrolling that whole area. And also to ask about the guys that congregate in front of the location of the former smoke shop that has been closed, but they still seem to use that. A new store has opened, which is a smoke shop selling like accessories and miscellaneous stuff. It's not just a smoke shop, but there's still a lot of young guys who congregate around that area. And I just wanted to ask like what the precinct is doing about that and how things are going with that whole situation. I understand that 4 people were arrested right away, for very young people. So any update on that and on what's being done for that area?
30
Because the
seconds.
Stand Up to Violence had a level 3 community response, and even the public advocate came, and everyone was full of questions about what more we can do, and to help the businesses on that strip as well, because they were all terrified about what had happened.
Okay. So,
Thank you,
so
Dan.
as far as, I got it, though. I got it, though. So as
No
far as
problem.
as White Plains, you know, in Allerton, where the shooting occurred, yes, we do have officers there every day. That's one of our priority posts, and they work from 5:30 p.m. till 2 in the morning, and on weekends they stay a couple hours extra. So yes, that is correct. That is one of our top posts. So even if we're short staffed, that's one of the first posts that are filled. So as regards to that, and even the day of the shooting, the reason we were able to catch them was because we had officers on that post that witnessed the whole thing and were able to put it over the radio, and that's why they were, you know, caught. And as far as the smoke shop, are you talking about the one located on White Plains next to Children's Place?
Diana?
You didn't get.
You lost them.
Diana, are you able to respond to the officer's question?
I had to search to unmute myself. Say the question again.
If you're talking about the smoke shop that was closed down, that's on, off the top of my head, I don't remember the address, but it's on White Plains Road next to Children's Place.
So
If
you
you're
want
talking
70
about
White
that,
Plains
No,
Road?
actually, I was talking about the smoke shop that was on Allerton. I think the address was 686 Allerton. It was called Bronx Puffs, and that was closed down completely and it's gone. But a new establishment has opened in that location. It's not really a smoke shop, although they do sell like some accessories. But I know they were very concerned about that situation, and they met with some of the SUV representatives, you know, to talk about what to do about the young guys that hang out in front.
okay, so well, I'll have to circle back to you on that one. I'll talk to my counterparts who work more of the night shift to see if they know anything. But as far as the other smoke shops that we are aware of, for example, the one on White Plains Road next to Children's Place, when it's brought up to us by the community, we go over there, and just yesterday we had a guy selling you know, weed gummies in front of the old smoke shop that was closed. We went up to him. We were gonna summon him for all his stuff, but turns out he had a warrant, and we ended up arresting him and taking some of his products. So yeah, we'll definitely jot down that address, and I'll have my counterparts and other people be aware of that, and you know, keep a special eye. And we can do the same with them. If we see them doing anything that's enforceable, we will definitely enforce it.
Excellent. Thank you, Diana. Thank you, Officer Sergeant Perez. Anyone else within gallery?
Sergeant Perez, I got a question for you. On one given night, how many patrol cars are out there?
So it depends on the shift. So on shift, we'll have about 5 cars. On the night shift, we have 7.
So 7 for the whole precinct?
Yes.
Wow, that is short.
But then, but just to be clear, patrol cars, that's just cars answering, you know, radio runs. We have
Right.
special ops units that are out there as well. So on an afternoon shift, we can have, you know, up to 10, you know, between you know, specialized units, like I said, who are, you know, not necessarily answering the radio, but you know, looking for, you know, drugs or things like that.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm gonna
No
go
problem.
down as I see it. Gabrielle Burgos, do you have anything? Okay, moving on. H. Perez, do you have anything?
H. Perez is me.
Oh, that's you twice. Okay. Malcolm Gray, do you have anything?
Not really. I mean, I have a meeting with them on Wednesday. But the arrest with the gummies, was that the one near, was that in front of Evil Ghost, Officer Perez?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Because I know I did flag this weekend too about the open marijuana sales in front of Evil Ghost continually, and that they reopened again. Well, it seemed like they're now opening when I'm not working. So they're reopening at nighttime and on Sundays. So I guess I'll flag that again, and I'll bring it up again at our meeting soon this week.
Okay, but yeah, because literally last week, so what's the day? Monday, on Thursday, we arrested them. We arrested a guy and we took some of their product.
Okay, makes sense.
The guy, excuse me, Sergeant Perez, the guy that you got arrested, did he come out? Is he back out? Is he back out there again or no?
Well, yeah, it was just a warrant, and unfortunately, weed, it's not, it's legal if you have a license. So the summons is just for being unlicensed.
So in other words, if you're selling weed, you just get a summons. You don't get arrested. Selling without a license.
Yeah, unfortunately.
Okay, and last but not least, Bob, do you have anything else?
I was going to say that the OCM can't make the laws, that the state legislature has to make the law, and the governor has to sign it, whether they're going to be legal or not. So you won't know until next year when the session comes back in.
Okay.
That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay,
That's it.
that's it. So Dwayne, you want to finish? We have old business and new business.
Yeah, we'll move to old business. Do we have any old business you'd like to address or bring up at this time?
Anyone from the committee have anything? I don't know.
Anyone else on the committee?
Naomi, Demaj, or Hazel, do you have any old business you'd like to bring up?
No. Thank you.
Okay, with that being said, we'll move to the next agenda item, which is new business.
Yeah. Our new business we had was electing the new chair, so that's done. Does anybody else have any new business?
If no, then that can conclude motion to adjourn today's meeting.
Okay, second.
The time now
Seeing no objection, meeting is finished. The time is now 8:09. Thank you, everyone. Hope to see everyone at the full board meeting, which I believe is at Maestro's this month.
All right.
All right,
Have a good
good
night.
night, everyone. Thank
Good
you.
night.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Good night.